Was this a surprise to a savvy insider like you?
This is a surprise, Tom, because, again, we've known to some extent about the collaboration with the phone companies, the Verizons, the AT&Ts of this world, but the fact that these tech companies, these 9 tech titans, companies, some of whom I should mention have had their own issues with privacy concerns, the fact that there is this, if you will, gateway between the government and the access and the information on their servers, that is new. It is not something that's been disclosed previously, and the companies, as Sara just mentioned, pushing back, saying the government never had direct access to their servers. The memo that the Washington Post cites in its report says the government did have direct access to those servers. Somewhere along the line, we'll get the truth, or we may.
To Barton Gellman's work for the Washington Post or Mike Dorning this morning for Bloomberg News, how will the White House respond to this? What is their to-do list while the president goes to California to meet with the president of China?
Well, this is a PR problem at a minimum, and it's probably much bigger than that. We already have had criticisms over the Verizon program, which, again, most people in this town across the country have had some sort of awareness of that program since 9/11, since the surveillance programs that kicked in after that. But this is different, Tom, because it hadn't been disclosed in any sort of way, and because there's reams of information that are available there. Again, the government's pushing back here, saying only foreigners were targeted. There were reviews here within the executive branch and by this foreign intelligence surveillance court. But, Tom, this is going to be a firestorm up on Capitol Hill, both among conservatives who question whether the American civil liberties have been compromised, by liberals as well. The president's going to hear it from both sides. The question is, are there enough people out there, Americans, who feel comfortable with the government doing this because it's kept the nation safe?
But yeah, I was just going to ask you about the fallout on Congress, because certainly there's going to be political backlash for this as well.
There is going to be political backlash, and there are going to be a bunch of lawmakers who are going to say, I told you so. They didn't have the opportunity, and in particular, Ron Wyden of Oregon, Mark Udall of Colorado. They've raised concerns about again, these laws and the ability for the government to reach into this kind of information, but they couldn't talk about it publicly because they were restricted, because it was classified. This is going to bring a new debate, both for Democrats and Republicans as well. Expect to hear a lot from Rand Paul on this topic in the next few days as well. This will bring hearings, to be sure. And again, at the end of the day, the question is for many Americans, do they want the government doing this because it keeps them safe? There could be a large collection of Americans who feel this is okay. There's certainly going to be some members of Congress and certainly civil liberties groups, interest groups here in Washington who say this is not correct.
Oh, yeah.
We're already seeing it on the op-ed pages of the New York Times.
Also, I would suggest probably for companies as well and how much they collaborate with the government. Our chief Washington correspondent, Peter Cook.